Music Interview Corner.
Hello from the Music Interview Corner. Today I have for you Xandria and I'm here with Amre. Hi, Amre.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Likewise, thank you so much for taking time for this interview.
Of course.
So, your brand new studio album, Eclipse, was released 4 days ago. How were the reactions so far?
Yeah, it's actually really positive. I'm pleasantly not surprised, but I'm relieved that people like it so much because we put, our heart into it. So it's always amazing when people love it, of course.
And I feel on Eclipse we can hear all the different versions of you, all the different Amres, like the rock voice, the operatic voice, growls. You have the whole vocal range. I feel with the Wonder Still Awaiting, it was kind of a start of the new era. And now with this album, did you have the feeling that you can now really explore what your voice can be within this band?
Um, yeah, I think we already did that on the one that's still awaiting, but the attitude towards it was a little bit different this time around. We did not really think, oh, okay, let's just show what I can do. I can do this and this, the growls, the screams. Let's just put it in there. I mean, we wanted it, but it had that in the back of our mind also. Let's show, what we are capable of. And on this album, there was not that kind of thought process behind it. It was more, let's just serve the songs. And for example, it ended up being not as much screams, for example, as I would have liked it. But we did not want to control these things. It was just how the music was evolving and what the songs were demanding. So we really followed the path of the music.
And on this album on Eclipse, you and Marco produced all the vocals yourself, right?
Yeah.
How was it
Yeah.
for you? Because you didn't have an external studio and not the pressure of a ticking clock. How did that affect your performance?
Yeah, it was much better. This is something I would always do it like this now because you can really perfect the vocals. In a studio, you booked it for a certain amount of time and you have a whole album to record. And it's like a song per day and you have harmonies in the end of it all, you are exhausted. It's really exhausting. And this way I could go back to some vocals that were not exactly where I wanted them to be. Not really technically, but more, emotionally. And some days, you're just not, at some point during the day, you're not in it anymore. So I could go back the next day and perfect this and go back into connecting with the lyrics and the songs and be more focused. So it actually changed quite a lot in the fact that I'm really relaxed with the vocals that are on that album. There's nothing where I thought, oh, if I had more time, I would have done this better. And that's a great feeling to have because I did have a little bit of that here and there with the previous releases where I'm like, if only I would have gone back to this, I could have made it better. And it's not such a nice feeling. But yeah, for that album, I'm very happy.
And was it difficult for you to be your own producer and still to have the distance to judge your own vocals?
It's a little bit difficult, but you know what? I think even if someone would tell me, no, but it's fine. If my feelings are not, aligning with, and my guts are telling me something, I'm always going to listen to it. So I, I would have not really, it would have not changed much. But it's true that at some point you don't get the distance anymore. And, yeah, at some point it can be a little bit tricky because I would want it perfect, and you go back and you recorded it again and again. You think, okay, I can do better, and sometimes it was probably just fine, the first two times. But yeah, I'm happy it went that way. I prefer this than in the end thinking I could have done it better.
And were there moments where you and Marco thought the song needed something different?
In what way? What do you mean, like someone else or?
No, I mean like that Marco would think the song needs one vocal approach, and you had the feeling that the song needed a
Yeah,
completely different approach.
interesting. Actually, let me think so I get this fact straight. Yeah, I think there was, but in the end, we always kind of agree because there's a few songs where it's not always easy to know what kind of intensity you put as the start of the song. And it's mostly for the like more power metal song, Grand Illusion, Masquerade, Lore. Those songs, it was a bit like, okay, how do we approach this? Because I am not a power metal singer, right? And the songs demand a little bit of power, but do I stay myself and do we go more in a storytelling direction, or do we need the power? Sometimes we could not really guess it from the start, so I would try things and then I was like, that doesn't work. So I would tell Marco, I really don't like this. I think I should tone it down a little bit. And sometimes he would not know exactly. He would be like, yeah, but I like this approach. And telling me maybe. And then I was like, I'm just going to try it and then we can compare. And in the end, usually we kind of agree. We would, okay, when we found the middle ground to everything, not like full power or full softness and storytelling, but when we find a good balance and I managed to capture it, then we're like, this is it. So we never really disagree, but we can have a different approach at the start, thinking, okay, how are we going to approach this? But in the end, it always works out very easily.
And working this way, did you find out some things about your voice that you didn't know before? Like you recorded something and said, oh, cool, I didn't know my voice could do that.
Yeah, definitely. You always discover those things in the studio. It's so interesting because the first time around when we recorded The Wonder Still Awaiting, there was a song, The Mirror of Time, and we did a little bit of a proggy Pink Floyd-ish outro to it, which the song is a little bit not exactly where I would have wanted nowadays, but I love the outro of the song. And I discovered some notes that I never thought I could reach because, you are in another kind of mental state and you can really push yourself to get there. So that was already the first step. I was like, okay, actually, I can go pretty high. And so I was like, let's explore this for the new album. And in the meantime, I made a lot of progress, of course, because I work on my voice all the time. I continue to do the work and practice pays off. You just get better, you expand your range. So on that album, I knew a little bit, okay, now we can really go high and do this kind of things. But I always was surprised in how higher I could actually go. It's not necessarily that it sounds really great, but it's mostly for doing high harmonies, because if the lead line that you hear consciously, is very high, the high harmony on top will be extremely high and somewhat crazy. It's like, only the dogs can hear that. And I was surprised that I could reach that. I was like, wow, this just continues to amaze me, how you can really develop abilities. And also the whistle tone that I put in the last generation in the ballad. Okay, this is something I knew I could kind of get, and I really wanted to have it on this album and on one song. And but I wasn't not sure how I can put a whole vocal line around it. But it worked. To my surprise, I discovered it at the same time as I'd done it. I was like, oh my God, it actually works. So it's great. You have a really great feeling after this. And yeah, it's still, you need to work on it and perfect it, but yeah, it works.
It's interesting that you mentioned The Last Generation, because that's also one of the songs that kind of touched me the most.
Me
And it
too, I
also
love
has,
it.
yeah, and it has these powerful lyrics, like
Yeah.
no more songs without a voice that counts. Is it a declaration of intent for the album, or does it also describe something that changed within your band?
Yeah, it's a very beautiful question. It's both. It's really both. It's this album, as you know, the themes and topics and lyrics are quite, they are talking about serious topics. They are very connected with the things that are happening in the world as we speak. So it's quite serious topics that we really wanted to talk about, and we thought it was important to talk about. Not that art needs to be all about political statement, but I think it was so much in our mind, and we wanted to use this opportunity to really talk about the things that we are discussing among us. Also, it's not fake; it doesn't come from nowhere, but also. As a band, I think Marco always did this, but it was very much metaphorical. It was always in metaphors and subtlety, and now he kind of felt the urge to be a little bit more direct. So I think this will be all the time in the future of Xandria now, something that it will always go into that direction. But it doesn't mean for all the songs, and it doesn't mean that the next album we all only have political statement. That's not really what what we mean by that. But yeah, I think the conclusion is like, use your platform for good, whether it's, talk about something that is authentic to you, something that's happening in the world. As long as you spread something positive, it's always good, no matter what it is.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree. And I feel that I hear in your album values like reason and empathy and democracy and
Absolutely.
pluralism and an open society. And I feel we are in a time now where these values feel threatened.
Exactly, I agree.
Do you feel
Yeah.
you have the responsibility as a metal band to also speak up about things that are happening right now in our society?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you know what? I will say, I don't think it's the responsibility of an artist to do things like this, because art is not necessarily the way for this. And some people might perceive it and might experience art in a different way. And me too. I don't necessarily imagine if I was only listening to bands who are political and who make statements. No, we can't do this. We love all sorts of music. So I don't think it's the responsibility, but I do think, like I said, if you have a platform, just use it for good. If you feel like talking about these topics, it will be very welcome, I think, nowadays, to stand against this tendency of hating, of disrespecting, of basic human rights and values. For me, it's so shaken at the moment that it is a good moment to do it. If you want to do it, you feel like you want to do it. But otherwise, don't talk about the tree, talk about the stars. I would appreciate the same way. And you have a responsibility as an artist to, for me, stay authentic. That's the responsibility of an artist. And that also you don't necessarily find in music, even in metal nowadays. It's not all about that, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you're saying that, it reminds me of what Marco said about the eclipse itself, that an eclipse is not only the sun being darkened by the moon, but also our civilization being darkened by shadows. What does eclipse and the title eclipse mean to you personally?
Yeah, it's the same thing. We talked about these topics, the lyrics of the songs a lot, and I completely agreed. And when he came up with that eclipse concept, and I was like, this is perfect. Let's go for it. And yeah, let's make it our artwork even. Let's really embody that concept, because it was representing very well what the whole album is about. So I fully stand behind it. And yeah, it's a temporary thing, an eclipse. It's actually, what day is it? Tuesday. It's happening tomorrow even. Imagine that. What a crazy coincidence. It was not planned, but crazy. Maybe it's a good sign from the universe. I don't know.
Oh, probably, probably.
Yeah, maybe good luck. But yeah, I really stand behind that. Yeah, that concept.
Now we had so many serious questions. Maybe we can go to some more like lighthearted comedy questions.
Of course.
So you have this amazing vocal range. Which ombre voice would you use in the following emergencies? The first one would be somebody steals your food from the tour bus fridge.
Would that make me mad? I don't know. In a tour, no, I would be a little bit more chill. I would use yeah, a little bit of a maybe rock voice would be a little bit cliche, but yeah, a little bit more, yeah, a bit more deeper, lower register, a little bit stronger, maybe.
Okay, and second emergency is someone wakes you up 3 hours too early.
That is a huge problem. That is my no-go. I am, yeah, that is a no-go. So definitely screaming and a really deep growl and very aggressive.
Okay, and emergency number 3, the airline loses all your luggage.
Ooh, that is also so stressful. But I tend to not yell in that case, because I don't get all all worked up about things I cannot control, or at least I try. So definitely silence and being like, ugh, not even a voice, just
And emergency number 4 would be somebody says, I don't really like metal.
Oh, totally fine. Yeah, I'm not listening only metal, so yeah, like this is not a problem. I can tell you very kindly and softly spoken, you do you.
Okay, and one last emergency number 5. Marco says, can we please record this chorus one more time?
Depends if I'm really happy with it, but because usually I am the one who says that. Like, let's record it again and again. He said, no, but it was good. No, let's do it again. I can do better. So it's not a usual scenario, but yeah, maybe I don't really know. Yeah, I would be like, okay. I don't really know what kind of voice I could use there, really, because I can't, get full on operatic vocals. No, that would be crazy. So I don't really know.
Oh, and speaking of that, if you could only use one of your vocal techniques for an entire day, which one would do the least damage to your life?
The pop register, like I talk, my normal chest, nice voice, and yeah, keep it in a comfort zone. That's my comfort zone. That's what I like to do.
Oh, and I just liked when you were singing the no in an operatic way. What would be the most funny and ridiculous sentence you could sing in your beautiful opera voice?
There's so many. I mean, imagine that this kind of vocals is really, it's over the top. It's over the top. It works in symphonic metal. It works in opera especially. But imagine day-to-day life, talking about things like that. Anything really that you that are not in the music. Anything I could say would sound really crazy. Pick any sentence. It will all sound crazy.
And you also 6 days ago released this beautiful music video for Eclipse for the title track of your new album. What was the funniest thing that happened during the video shoot?
Oh yeah, I had to use we wanted me to use a flamethrower in the end. Yeah, so first time. So that's definitely, first of all, it's very heavy. So I don't expect it to be that heavy, but it's very heavy. And you have to keep a good posture. And I was holding it for a long time. So at some point, I noticed it was going down, and then I was like, I can't put it up anymore. So we gotta get this shot going because I'm not gonna. And I had to scream at the same time and also not burn the camera guy right in front of me because one of the shot is right in front of me. So he was telling me, please direct it a little bit on the side so you don't, And I was like, okay, this was a bit stressful. I was like, okay, let's aim, because there was another photographer on the other side, and I had to kind of make also a movement, but I had to be really conscious of where to go to not go fully on the side. And it's very heavy. You don't necessarily completely control the flame, how it's going. So that was a little bit like, okay, I hope I don't burn anybody. But it was working, but I had to be very conscious about what I'm doing here.
Oh my God, that sounds so stressful when you kind of could potentially hurt someone else with this
A
thing.
little
Oh my
bit,
God.
but the fun was taking over because you feel there's a certain power into having a flamethrower in your hand, and nothing compares really. This is quite an amazing feeling. The gun with the full flame going. This is an amazing feeling.
It looks also really amazing in the video.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and now my favorite question while we're talking about flamethrowers
Uh-huh.
and all that stuff. What's the craziest thing you and your bandmates have ever done on tour?
Ah, I don't know. We are not such a crazy band, We are not doing too many crazy things. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot together. Maybe some of those last show pranks. After a tour, the last show we do pranks, and I don't know if you've ever been to one of those. It has to be the last show on the tour, so it's not that easy to catch that up. But yeah, and yeah, our drummer was. Our drummer was going on stage in a towel only, brushing his teeth and reading a newspaper and going through the stage while they were playing. What band was that? I don't remember if it was, maybe it was Syringa. We did it with Camelot, Battle Beast. I don't remember, one of those. And and yeah, he pretended to not, to not see what was going on, and then he realized that he was ending up on stage like that. So little pranks like this that we always like to take a little bit further. We did this with Camelot in the US, us in Battle Beast also, that we went and played beer pong on the stage while they were singing and things like this. It's yeah, you have to go a little bit crazy, of course, so it's a bit funny, but yeah, usually this is the crazy moments of Xandria.
Oh, then I have to make sure that I catch the last concert on your next tour.
Yeah, if you can. I mean, yeah, it's in Germany.
Oh,
We do
good.
what? It's Hamburg, I think, the last one. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
I will try my best. Oh, and yeah, our time is almost up, but one more question. You're also active on Patreon. Uh, can
Yeah.
you can you tell your fans a little bit more? What do people need to know about what you're doing on Patreon?
Yeah, thank you for talking about this. Yeah, so first of all, I post any announcements, music videos, and songs like ahead of time, so they get it a few days before it's actually out. Um, we have the Patreon chat, so we talk about whatever is going on in the band at the moment. We are talking a lot about the album, of course, what people, the songs that they like. I love to ask that. I give updates also about what's to come, ask questions. And yeah, so they can reach me, talk to me personally, of course, by messages, because on social media is overwhelming. I can't keep track. I don't have much time. So I know on Patreon I can actually focus and dedicate the time there. So it's the perfect platform for being visible to me if you have something to tell me. So I really like that, and I like having this kind of community, a little bit closer community with people that they don't feel like outside fans that I don't know. I know them and I would recognize them if I see them. So I like having a little community like this. And they're all, the kindness is, overwhelming. So this is really a positive platform.
Oh, wonderful. So guys, now you know what to do if you want to talk to Amre about the new
Thank
album.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this great interview, Amre, and all the best for the
Yeah, thank
tour
you.
and for the album.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Music Interviews Corner.